I mean, I have my opinion on it, but I think it's fair to say Senior didn't agree, right? Like, like I mean, I it's very surprising as to how this became like controversial. I'm like, wow, we just read. I literally just read the book. I didn't change nothing. Like, so I was kind of surprised. Like, how are people mad? Like, what did I do? I didn't change the wiretap. I just read it. And
I
I said,
know.
Michael, hey, Michael, what does this mean? He
I
just said, hey, it means this. And it looks like that's now. I'm not saying we should say John's right
no.
no more than I'm saying we should say Sammy's a liar. I'm not saying that Sammy's right and John's a liar. Let we just put it out, and everybody can decide what they want
Yeah.
to
What they want to
decide
do
what
with
they
it.
decide what they believe.
Yeah, no, and I agree because like it's like there's just so much drama and beef. I mean, it's never going to answer anything. You know what I mean? Like people are
Yeah,
still going to believe one side and the other is going to do that. I mean, there's no coming to a conclusion with the shit. So it's just you put out the actual facts and history that was in that. The wiretap, for example, that you were doing that segment on, and that's it because that's all we have
mm-hmm.
that links us back to something that's real and that draws a conclusion on something. I mean, there's solid history, and that's what you want to cover instead of all this drama and all this hectic shit because it'll never come to an end. Like it'll never come to a right answer. I don't think someone's just say, yeah, this guy's right.
No, I
That's
agree.
just kind of how I think. That's why I like the history aspect of it. I think if you're
Mm-hmm.
going to do stuff in this genre, you should do the history stuff, and that's what you do. That's what you and Mikey do. So that's the stuff I enjoy. That's what I want to hear. I don't, all the controversial stuff. Yeah, it's interesting to some people and stuff, but I think the history is really what's important.
I think there's a lot that people can learn from it, and that's practical in everyday life. So
Yeah,
yeah, I agree with you.
yeah. No, I do too, man. And with that being said, I mean, so how did that kind of work? I mean, you guys did the wiretap thing. You read it, then Sammy got pissed off because he's seen it, and then that's kind of he made a video, and then Mikey just addressed it. Mikey wasn't calling him names or nothing. I watched the whole thing. I mean, he
No, we
wasn't
didn't.
being disrespectful.
No, you'll never hear. I never heard Michael. And again, I can speak from before the show. I know what we talk about. Um, that isn't even public. Michael isn't the kind of guy that is like he's not gossipy. He doesn't sit around bad talking people. I said this guy spent I think 47 years in that life. He was born into it. He was born.
47.
Yeah,
Shit.
he was born into it, and he was in it. So he has more time on the planet in it than out of it. So I sometimes don't understand when people say like, some of the when I've heard criticism that he still thinks he's no. I just think he is what he is. It's just what you are. Just because you take take a person, you put them in a different environment for less time than they've been in this other environment, it doesn't make them any different of a person. So I never hear Michael bash or bad talk anyone. It wasn't about. I didn't feel like it was an attack. I'm really surprised he got so upset. I mean, I'm very surprised. But I'll say this because I don't want to make it some righteous thing. There's, Michael is offended by, and I'm speaking for RJ, so I don't want no one to take what I'm saying as gospel from Michael, but this is just my perspective. Largely, when Michael reflects on the life he comes from, I've never hear him bad talk it. He doesn't slander people. He don't bad talk anybody. He looks at it and just it has his perspective on it. There's a few people that he only have ever spoke to me about, three people ever that I think he feels that those that a few people have been offensive to whatever Cosa Nostra means to him,
Right.
and that's some of the things we discuss on our show. But largely, I mean, find me a clip. Someone showed me somewhere where Michael's FUing somebody, telling someone suck this or do this.
Never.
You won't find it. He doesn't act. He doesn't talk or act that way.
No, and that's the best way to act. I mean, it's just there's no reason to get involved with all of it, and like you said, he just gives his perspective because he was someone that was in that life, you know what I mean? So to have someone like that, you can really use that to your advantage, you know what I mean? And really get the history aspect of it because he was someone who was there and who was really active. He was a capo, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of capos, especially in the Gambino family that shit, I know talking, I mean, there's not these, he's really, really important to the history for, saying it, and keeping a open-minded opinion on stuff, I suppose, not such a closed-minded where he's like, oh, that guy's no good, because there's guys that do that, so Mikey's pretty open. I mean, hell, he was even saying, thank you to Sammy on those segments and stuff, where after he had gotten bashed and stuff by him, but he kept cool and, what I mean?
No, it's I don't think you'll ever see. But you know what? As much as I like the guy, if he was that type of guy, I wouldn't work with him.
Yeah, that's true.
I have to live my life and do different projects and I got goals for my life. But you know what? He wouldn't work with me if I was that type of guy.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip. This clip came from one of my interviews I did in the past. Please hit subscribe if you want to get more clips like this. Also, if you want to watch the full interview, I'll put a link in the description. Or you can hit the button on the screen to watch the full interview.